Okay guys, so today on our YouTube channel we're going to be stepping you through how to add a reverse camera to the 70 Series LandCruiser for anything before the facelift, so anything pre-2024 and with this factory screen. So all the earlier models, they came with different stereos and different features, but if you have one of these, the factory navigation or touch screens, you can add a reverse camera into it. It's very quick and easy to do with our kits. We sell them online at autochimp.com.au, and it does this. It allows you to have the reverse camera on the factory screen, so when you put it in reverse, it comes up and you can see behind you. Very easy to do, completely plug and play. It will not void any warranty. This is for all your older models. You don't need to have any skills in terms of wiring. Installation takes about 30 minutes, and I step you through the entire process from mounting the camera at the rear to plugging it in its stereo and operating it. There's no programming required, nothing. Kits are very easy to do. Now, we also have kits available on our website that are multi-camera kits or dual camera kits. So if you're wanting to add a front camera, trailer camera, or additional cameras to the factory screen, not just the reverse camera. So as you can see here, this is the reverse camera. You can do that with some of our multi-camera kits or quad camera kits. So for example, on this model, we've got the front camera. There's the front camera there. You can also turn on the rear camera anytime by these buttons, or trailer camera, and you can switch between them at any time. So as you can see here, I'm turning them all on, and you can use those while driving. They will not bring on your reverse camera, your rear lights while driving. This allows you to check your hitch, your trailer, or any other cameras like canopies. You've got dogs on the back, whatever, horses, trailers, whatever you want, you can view it all from the factory screen, and it will not interfere with the normal operations of when you put it in reverse. It will still work. The kits are available on our website, autochimp.com. This kit specifically is called the RC7, the AC-TOY, also AutoChimp Toyota RC7 kit. It comes with all these factory style mounts, so you can actually put it up here. There's no holes needed to be drilled. It's completely bolted up, so you don't need to do anything like that. And very easy to do. We show you how to run all the cables right through to the cabin. But there you go, guys. This is the new RC7 kit. Check it out at AutoChimp Electronics on our YouTube channel, and we'll show you how to install it. Good afternoon, guys. So welcome back to AutoChimp Electronics. Today we're going to be showing you how to install this. This is the AC-TOY-RC7. This is the reverse camera kit for the 70 Series LandCruisers. Anything pre-2023, not the new facelift models, but anything before that with this style stereo. So this is the older model, so please forgive me. It's a newer model car, and I've put the older stereo in it to show you how it's done. They're virtually the same car anyway, but the installation is slightly different on how to connect your reverse camera to this factory screen. But we're going to step you through that today and how to do that. It's very quick and easy, completely plug and play. All right, so this model here was anything pre-2023 all the way back. So if you have one of these touch screens, you can certainly add a reverse camera into the factory screen. It simply plugs in at the back, and down at the kick panel there is one connection to get the reverse light signal as well. So I'm going to go through and show you how to do the installation now quickly, and what comes in the kit as well. You're only going to need a few tools to do the installation. It's very easy to do. You're going to need a 10mm socket, screwdriver, non-marring pry bar to pull off panels, and some tape. All right, if you don't have these available, we do sell them on the website for you at autochimp.com.au. Okay, so firstly I'll show you what you're going to get in the kit, and then I'm going to show you how to do the connections and how quick and easy it is. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to run and mount the camera, how to run all the cables to the front of the vehicle, and we'll show you the connections first. So for those that don't want to watch the whole video, you can just watch the connections. Anyone that needs help on how to run it through the chassis and up through the floor, that'll be at the end of the video, and you can fast forward to it. Okay, so a couple of things. Firstly, we'll go through what's in the box and what the contents are. This is a vital, important piece of information, okay? This is about how to adjust the options on the camera. With our cameras, the AutoChimp Pro Series cameras, you do have 3 different adjustments, and I get asked about this about 20 times a week, so we put these cards in here, so please pay attention to them. But what you can do is actually turn guidelines on and off, or you can flip the image horizontally or vertically, depending on the orientation that you want, because our cameras can mount in any direction. So if you need to cut or join any of the loops, this gives you information. You can see here, green will turn the guidelines on and off. You would just cut the wire to turn them off and join it back up if you want them on, for example, and same for the blue, white, etc. Okay, so that information is in there. It's vital. Please understand that if you need to change the camera orientation, you can do it. Because our cameras are built to be used for front, rear, or anywhere on the vehicle, you might need to change the orientation. So for example, if you were going to use this camera for a rear camera, you could mount it 2 different ways or a few different ways. So if you're going to mount it like this, you know, it's going to be fine. But then if you want to mount it upside down, if you have a tray, you would have to cut the image or the loop to flip it vertically, okay? You would cut the blue loop. Now, that's just how it works if you need to mount it, and it gives you versatility on where you can mount it. We also give you this mounting bracket as well, and this is a no-holes drilling mounting bracket where you can put the camera in behind and then put it up into your tray, okay? We'll show you that at the end, how to do it. This is a little tool and some 10mm socket here, so you can actually mount it, and I'll show you how that's going to look because I've already got one on my vehicle. As you come through here, okay, you can see them at the back here. It's nice and neatly mounted. You don't see any holes, screws. It's all conduited, split tubing and cable tied up. They look very neat and very factory fitted. And you only need one hole to mount it, and they can be adjusted from any angle, left or right, front or rear, to give you the angle that you want on your vehicle. Very important because not everyone had the same factory trays, and some people want to mount it at different locations. Some people have been mounting it down low in the center. Obviously, if you want to mount it down there, you probably wouldn't need this big housing to mount it, okay? So it's purely convenient because you don't need any tools except a 10mm socket and a screwdriver. We've designed that for people to make it easy as possible, okay? So I'll show you how to mount the cameras at the end. We'll throw that in the video. We've done that many times before, but let's step into the connections. In the kit, you're going to get the extension cables for front to rear, a bit of screws and double-sided tape, some split tubing to cover the cabling just for protection from dust. Cable ties are all included as well. You're going to use that. We also give you this. This is what do you call it? It's a rubber butylene. It's a waterproof sealing tape. So when you come up through the floor, this will seal it so you don't get any water into the cabin, you know, because it's a four-wheel drive. You want to be able to seal those so it's waterproof into the cabin. So that's provided for you. And inside this, you're also going to have a connection kit. Okay. And this is where the camera is going to plug into. And then this is going to plug into the stereo. Okay. That's very easy to do. I'll show you that in just a second. So we'll just grab that out. And then the secondary part of these ones, because it's for the earlier model 70 Series LandCruisers, we've created a new adapter for you guys to make it plug and play, because a lot of people didn't have the reverse signal at the stereo, because depending on the model you had, different motors, different series, whether it's a Workmate, GX, GXL, they didn't have all the wires in the vehicle because Toyota was save money depending on the model. So this is the adapter here that's going to give you the reverse signal into the factory radio if you don't have it behind the stereo, and that's what tells us the vehicle that you're in reverse, and the screen to show the reverse camera. All right, so we're going to use these two at the stereo for installation. I'm going to quickly show you how to pull it all apart and how to connect it and where to connect it. It's very simple and easy to do. So let's just jump straight into it and try and make this as quick as possible. We're going to use a 10mm socket and also a non-mine pry bar. And that's going to be the first step. And we're going to pull out the factory stereo. And let's jump into it. Oh, please forgive me. It's a 40-degree day here in Australia. But this will work for all the 70 series, any model with this style stereo. So the first step is pull the dash off. The dash panel will just pull forward. As you saw there, I just used the non-mine pry bar, but most people can just use their hands or fingers. If you're worried about scratching your dash, always come from the bottom, pull forward, and then pull it out, okay? Because if you slip, you're not going to scratch anything that you're going to see, nothing visible, all right? When you pull this forward, you're going to have a hazard light switch here. I don't have it on this model because I have the new 2024 and this clock here and speedo. So when you pull that forward, you're going to have to unclip it. Okay, there's going to be a little plug here. You're going to clip that, unplug. Same here, clip that, unplug. Okay, this vehicle is slightly different, being the new one, but you can see that's the new connectors. Very similar. You're just going to press the top, pull it out. Okay. Once you've done that, you're going to jump in, use your 10mm socket. There's 4 screws here. Top and bottom, all corners, left, right, up, down. Anti-clockwise is undo. This is the same for any screws on Japanese cars or any bolts on Japanese cars. It's always anti-clockwise. Very simple and easy to do, and it only takes you a couple of seconds to do. Now, one thing to be careful of when you do this, don't drop them into the vehicle. because you can lose them. So just be careful. There we go. And I want to make you aware now of the two different types of screw. So you'll see the threaded one here, the self-tapping screw. These two go at the top, and the threaded one here, more like a bolt hole for a nut. These two go on the bottom, okay? Very important because they are two different mountings. So just make sure you get that right when you're putting it back in. Once you pull this stereo out, there's a few connections on the back. Everyone's going to have something different, but this is going to be the antenna, DAB antennas, GPS. This is all your reverse signals. And what you're going to do is just go through, push the locking tabs on the top and undo them and pull it out, okay? So depending on your version of vehicle, there'll be a lot of different cables here. So just be aware of that every model is going to vary. And I have different cables because I'm running a multi-camera kit so that we can run the front, rear, and all the other vehicles as well. But it's going to be virtually the same as that. Now, in terms of the connections, these are the only connections that you're going to need to make at the stereo. You're going to grab these two looms and they're going to plug directly in line with the vehicle stereo, and it allows everything to pass through and not be a problem. You've got about 2 meters of cable here, or about 1.5 meters of cable that goes down into the driver's kick panel. So this big plug here, this goes down into the driver's kick panel, okay? This is what's going to give you your reverse signal at the stereo, so the car knows to go into reverse and show the reverse camera. Now, this one here is the 24-pin white plug. It's going to look like this. You may not have anything that goes into this plug. So this is normally a T-piece that comes in here and comes through. It's the same on the Hilux, and we have a couple extra wires here. It won't matter to your vehicle if you don't have anything to plug into here. The only reason we are using this 24-pin plug is for this. This is the camera input, okay? Our reverse camera is going to plug in here and plug into the back of the stereo, and that's as simple as it is. And I'm going to show you that really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how the camera works and plug it in, and we should be able to do it in about 2 minutes. So on the back of the stereo, they can only go in one position. There's only the available plugs that are positioned there. You have the 28-pin here. Okay, this is going to give the reverse signal into the stereo, and this is the video signal into the stereo. Okay, these are your powers and your speakers. Once you plug those in, you're going to plug in all the original looms into the T-piece so they pass through and you're not missing anything. And the reverse camera is going to plug into here. So you're going to mount it at the rear, run it all the way to the front behind the stereo, and I'm going to show you that at the end of the video, like I just said, and it will be easy enough to do. So what I'm going to do is grab the camera for you quickly and show you how to do that. But firstly, I'm going to run this cable down to the driver's kick panel. And the way you're going to do that, I find it easy to run from the top down. You're going to put your hand behind, and you're just going to look for a bit of a gap that you can get it through, and you're going to push it down. Okay, here we go. Here we go, at the back here. I'm going to go through there, and I'm going to come through and push it down. Okay, there we go. It's starting to come down, and then I'm going to get underneath and try and push it up through. So please forgive me. I'm going to cut the camera here while I grab it and run it down. Once I put my hands up, you don't need to pull anything out of the kick panel. You don't need to pull all these dash panels off. You can actually reach up and get the cable, and you're going to come down here into the driver's kick panel, okay? To pull this kick panel off, you're going to go anti-clockwise on this little 10mm nut. This is a locking nut. It's a push scrivet, okay? Don't lose that. Put it in your center console or somewhere where you're not going to lose it. And first, you're going to pull off this tread plate as well. So these just pull up with your hands. Very easy to do. There's clips on them along the way. So just be aware, put the pressure under here when you're lifting so you don't break them or they fall out. If they do fall out or stay in the vehicle, pop them off and they slide back on, okay? And just make sure they're all in their position before you put it back on. And this panel here will just pull it back towards you and come forward. So very easy to pull those parts of the panels out. And here's the camera. We're quickly gonna plug this camera in to show you how it works. And what I'm going to do is quickly run that cable down to the kick panel and show you that connection, and then we'll go back up and I'll show you the connection for the camera. Okay guys, so there you go. We're down in the kick panel now, and we've run the cables across, and we're going to connect this in just a moment. But I just want to tell you a couple of things. If you are running the cables from down from the top, you're probably going to get cut. Okay, it's very sharp behind the dash. Just use a bit of care and be careful when you're putting your hands through. You'll get battle wounds. This is just a typical thing. If you want to use a stick to push a stick up through and pull it through, but personally, I like using my hands. Okay. Now, when you're coming from here across to here down in the kick panel, you can do it two ways. You can come down and come under the carpet. I don't personally like doing it that way. I like coming across here. There's a nice little spot here you can tie the cable ties to, and I run it behind all the other cables, like around them, and come down. So it's nice and neat, and it's tucked away like this. It's not going to drop anywhere. But when you tie this up in the center here, just be careful of the steering column. When you're tying around here, there is a moving steering column. You don't want to have any cable ties touching that because it will damage your cables. Now, this is what the plug looks like, what you're looking for in the kick panel. This is another T harness that just plugs in line. And this orange wire, this is your reverse signal, okay? So for you people out there that want to know, it's top right pin. You can see it here, okay? And that's the reverse signal. And it's not going to be green on the kits that we send out. Sorry, it's not going to be orange on the kits that we send out. Orange is just for our sample video because this is our sample product, because we've recently made this plug for you guys just to make it a little bit easier. Anyone with the earlier models of the kit we used to make, it just comes with a purple and white wire, and you have to tap it in, okay? But we've since made it with this plug and play harness. This is for all the new models from 2025 onwards. Anything we're selling from 2025 onwards will now come with this plug. But previously we only sold kits that you would tap in because not all models needed it. But now we're going to supply it with every single RC7 kit to make life easier for you. And now what you're going to do, you're going to get a small screwdriver or a non-mining pry bar. Here we go. Non-mining pry bar will do. And we're going to come off. We're going to come down here into the kick panel, and I'm going to show you what you need to do. So on the right here, you've got this gray plug here, and it'll have a thick wire here. It might be red, it might be red black, it might be different color depending on the model of your vehicle. And this is the plug we want. There's a little locking tab on the top there. Now these locking tabs are very hard and tight in this position, so some people can use their fingers and jiggle it, which is very tight. There we go. Like that, but it is very tight. So if you want to push on it with the non-mining pry bar, you can see a little mark there. I've done it before. That will allow you to release that plug, and it's a very, very tight plug, okay? Not a lot of room, so that's why I said use the pry bar. Now, your wires may look different to this, okay? Don't worry about that because this harness is completely pass-through. It doesn't matter how many wires or cables you have in it. It's going to work no matter what. It doesn't interfere with anything, and it just plugs in line, okay? Just like that, all right? And then that original one will go back into the kick panel. So you can see it, there we go, plugs in, and then you tie those cables up out of the way, but there's lots of room to do it, okay? It's quite tough to hold it up with one hand here. I'm just trying to show you, but then you would tie all these cables up, hide them away in the kick panel, make it really nice and neat, and I'll show you that once I've finished, but I'm just going to run that a little bit later. All right, so to give you an idea, if you're running the reverse camera through, it comes up into this kick panel, comes through here. You're going to use this waterproof sealing tape. Camera's going to come up, and if you're coming up through the floor, you would go back over the top, back into the center as well. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to continue and just show you the camera connection, but like I said, I'll show you at the end if you want to see it, how to run it. And what you're going to have is a cable, and then you're also going to have the extension, which is an 8-meter extension that runs from front to rear with your little 4-pin plug, which is how it's going to connect to the stereo and the plugs that we actually put in the T-piece. Now, these have little arrows on them. This shows you how to connect the camera. It's a waterproof connector, okay, because this is going to be outside the vehicle, and you're going to run it, and this is the part that comes up through the floor. And we're going to come over into the stereo, and I'm going to show you how it connects. Firstly, we'll start the car. Don't start the car. I'm purely doing this because I need some air conditioning because it is about 40 degrees today, and I really just wanted to get this video done for people because they're waiting for this and wanted a bit of instruction. So here's how it's going to connect. It's going to go into this connection here. This is a 24-pin white connection. Now, it won't have any wires. I'm saying 24 pins, okay? It'll have a few wires. You might have 4 or 6 on your factory loom, but on ours, it looks like this. And you might not have anything to go back in here because your vehicle probably didn't have the reverse camera, which is why you're buying one, okay? And this is what happens. You're gonna plug it in here, okay? Very simple and easy to do. You're gonna have your 28 pin plug here, and this is the reverse signal, and that's gonna be the signal that we just picked up in the kick panel, okay? Very easy to do. Now you're gonna do all this with the vehicle off, and then you're gonna plug in your power, okay? And we'll get that power now and I'll show you. So we're kind of simulating the vehicle being off at this point in time, as you can see here. And when I plug it in, she'll boot up. There we go. Quite simple and easy to do. Now, this will take a couple of minutes because we've disconnected the power completely and not just turned the ignition off. It will load and boot it all up. But once it's loaded this first time, like every time you drive your vehicle, it'll be much, much quicker, and the reverse camera will work like a lot sooner than it would here, okay? So this is just the first time when you plug it back in after having it disconnected, all right? I might add that it's the same installation for this model on some of the Prados, the 150 series and the, some of the 120 series, the early models. If you have this model stereo, it's going to be the same. Once you plug it in and turn it on for the first time and you put it in reverse, you're going to get your reverse camera, okay? So here it is now, connected. See it here? Very clear, nice and easy to do. And I'm going to make you aware of 2 different things here. The camera is HD, but your screen's not HD. So this is the best image quality you're going to get on the vehicle, because the limitation is your screen itself. Now it's very clear pictures, like you can see me here, right? Very clear picture, and I've still got tape over the camera, and you can put it whichever way depending on how we mount it. It's very clear, but a lot of people get caught in this trap. When you turn on the parking lights, it dims it, because at night it would be very clear, right? At night you don't want it as bright, but it doesn't look very clear during the day. So if you have auto headlights or your headlights on, be aware that's why it might look a bit darker. I get a lot of people ring me and go, oh, it's not very clear. And I'm like, have you got your parking lights on? Oh, okay. So very clear, very easy to fit, guys. You're literally going to plug 2 connections in the back, and then it's going to run down into your driver's kick panel and plug into there. All right. And that's the entire installation. So we would go ahead and put that all back in now, because we would have run our camera up behind, and we're going to put the dash back in, and it literally is just the reverse of how we pulled it out. Just be aware there's 2 differences in the screws. Make sure you don't break these little locking tabs when you're putting it back in, and you're done. All up, this should probably take you about 30 to 60 minutes if you've never done one before. If you've done one before, it'll probably take you about 20 minutes to do, okay? So I hope you like that, guys. That's the AutoChimp AC-TOY-RC7 for anything with this model screen and 2023 before, anything prior to 2023 on the 70 series with these touchscreens.